Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS NBA Wednesday. We're coming off a nice Tuesday. We're 5-0 so far, waiting on the Warriors game right now. There's 4 minutes left in the third quarter. I'm up 13. If the Warriors win, it'll be a 6-0 sweep for me. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, I will have completed the sweep. Or if the Warriors choke, I went 5-1. We'll see. NBA Wednesday, I think we got 7 games on the board for this one. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
First up, we got the Wizards on the road in Orlando. Magic laying 9.5 points at home here, total sitting at 233.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, even with a 9.5 point spread, we still have a pretty heavy lean on the Magic here. Model saying Orlando 127, Washington 106. Injury-wise, Washington's still going to be without DeLon Wright. Looks like he's going to miss another 3 or 4 weeks. Other than that, they're good to go, though. On the Orlando side, they're still missing 2 huge pieces. Fultz has been out for a few weeks now. Wendell Carter's been out almost a whole month. Both key players for this Magic team. But you know what? They've won 7 games in a row without him. So I know we're looking at a big number here with an Orlando team that's definitely dealing with some injuries. But the truth is, I don't even think we can consider putting any money on Washington right now. First thing that jumps right out at me is the offensive glass. Orlando is 8th in offensive rebounding rate on the season. Washington defensively all the way back at 29th. And if you're thinking, oh, well, Kyle, those Orlando offensive rebounding stats, they include Wendell Carter in some games. He's hurt right now. Well, let's switch it up and look specifically at the last 10 games, and we're looking at the same exact story here. Orlando's offensive rebounding rate still 10th in the last 10 games. Washington's actually dead last defensively. Orlando also leads the NBA in free throw rate over the last 10 games, so they've done a great job getting to the free throw line. And this mismatch under the rim gets even deeper. Over the last 10 games, 41% of Orlando's shot attempts have come at the basket. That's the most in the NBA. So in the last 10 games, nobody has attempted more shots at the rim than the Orlando Magic. Look at Washington's defensive numbers at the basket, 27th in efficiency. So to summarize what I just said, even without Wendell Carter on the floor, Orlando should dominate the offensive glass, they should get plenty of opportunities from the free throw line, and they should have easy buckets at the rim all night. Who's a player on the Orlando active roster that does all 3 of those things? Mo Wagner. In the last 10 games with the injuries, Wagner off the bench is averaging just 19 minutes per game, but he's 3rd in the team in offensive rebounds per game, 5th in free throw attempts per game, and 2nd in shot frequency at the rim. I'm sure his points and rebounds line won't open till super late, but that's where I want to go with this one. Mo Wagner's overs, points or points and rebounds. Obviously, I like Orlando as far as a side, but I doubt I actually lay the 9.5. So I'll take Mo Wagner's overs next game. Lakers are on the road in Detroit to play the Pistons. Detroit catching 7.5 points at home here. It's actually down to 7. It was at 7.5 when I started running the notes. It's down to 7 now. Total sitting at 228.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we got a slight lean on the Pistons here. Model saying Lakers 115, Detroit 111. Injury-wise, Lakers definitely missing some pieces here. Looks like Hachimura is going to miss a 3rd straight game. Gabe Vincent and Vanderbilt both still out. LeBron is questionable, but I mean, that really doesn't mean anything. I think LeBron's been questionable in every single game this season, and that's not an exaggeration or a joke. I think he's actually been questionable in every single game. On the Detroit side, they're still missing Bogdanovich. He's yet to play a game yet this season. Other than that, all their main pieces are healthy. They do have some injuries to the depth. Joe Harris and Monte Morris are both out, but I'm not even sure how many minutes those guys would be seeing if they were healthy. As far as what I'm doing in this game, I think this might be a sneaky spot to take the Pistons. I mean, look, Detroit is obviously terrible. They've lost 13 straight games, but they're actually 4-6 against the spread in the last 10. So they haven't really been the blind auto fade that you think they've been. And one thing the Pistons can do is defend the rim. And this dates back to last season too, especially when Duren's healthy. On the season, Detroit is 1st in the NBA in defensive efficiency at the basket. Lakers take 33% of their field goal attempts at the basket. So not the best matchup for the Lakers offensively. And then you add on the fact that this is really a meaningless spot for the Lakers. They're on the road in Detroit, an Eastern Conference game. They immediately fly to Oklahoma City for a huge Western Conference game the following night, tomorrow night. This looks like a flat spot to me. I'll let you know my final decision on the live show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, but I'm leaning Detroit. I might take the points with the Pistons here. Next game. Phoenix Suns on the road in Toronto to play the Raps. Toronto catching 1.5 points at home here. Total sitting at 222.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and Model's giving us a pretty heavy lean on Toronto here. Model's saying Toronto 117, Phoenix 110 final score. Injury-wise, Suns still without Bradley Beal. Kevin Durant's questionable. Grayson Allen's questionable. KD's missed 2 games already. If he sits this one out, it'll be his 3rd straight missed game. On the Toronto side, 0 injuries to the main pieces. Toronto's full rotation is listed as active. I'm going to skip this one for now. Obviously can't make a decision if we don't know whether or not Kevin Durant's going to play. Also, this is a weird spot for the Raptors. They just played a game in Brooklyn last night, played them tough, then Brooklyn ended up pulling away at the end, immediately flying home for a back-to-back against a Western Conference team. I might have a bet for this one on the live show, 4 p.m., but as of right now, this is a pass. Next game. Sixers are down south on the road in New Orleans to play the Pelicans. Pelly's catching 1 point at home, so basically a pick 'em. Total sitting at 227.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and it's giving us a very slight lean on the Pelicans. According to the model, we're looking at final score: Philly 113, Pelicans 115. Got some good news for the Pelicans on the injury front. Trey Murphy has been upgraded to doubtful, so he's probably not playing in this game, but it looks like he's gonna make his debut soon. He has not played this whole season. They also may be getting CJ McCollum back. He's listed as questionable. He hasn't played since November 6th. So the Pelicans may be sitting at 9-9 on the season, but you got to be pretty optimistic if you're a Pelicans fan moving forward. On the Philadelphia side, they're going to be without Kelly Oubre again. He hasn't played since November 10th. Other than that, they're pretty much at full strength, though. So I like this spot for the Pelicans, man. You got New Orleans coming off back-to-back ugly losses to the Jazz in Utah. Not games they want to be losing. Now they're back at home. It was just a 3-game road trip, so I'm not worried about that. New Orleans is going to want this one. I know it's an Eastern Conference game, but coming off those bad losses, Pellies really need a win here. Philly, on the other hand, is in almost the exact opposite spot. They picked up that huge road win at Oklahoma City. Then they absolutely dominated the Lakers at home. And look who's on deck. Friday night on the road in Boston. One of the biggest games of their season up to this point. So Philly coming off back-to-back wins with a massive game on deck against a Western Conference team. I mean, this definitely isn't a game that Philly has circled on their schedule. Another positive angle for the Pellies here. Last 5 games at home, perfect 5-0 against the spread. New Orleans has covered 5 straight at home. You'll love to see it. So obviously I'm leaning Pelicans here. I do have to say I'm a little worried about Philly's offense in transition, though. Philly's averaging 1.21 points per possession in transition. That's 4th best in the NBA. Philly's extremely efficient when they run the floor, and New Orleans hasn't been good at all in that department. It's probably the weakest. I mean, that's probably the weakest part of the Pelicans team is their defense in transition. Just 23rd in defensive efficiency and transition, 28th in frequency. So they allow a lot of fast breaks, and they're not good at defending them. New Orleans defense as a whole is good, but they struggle when you run the floor on them. So who are the guys that attempt the most shots in transition for the Sixers? Daniel House and Kelly Oubre. Problem, they're both hurt. They're both inactive for this game. Right below that, you got Melton and Harris. So if you like that angle, maybe you can look at one of those guys' overs. I'm still down to play Nola in this game. I'm going to bet the Pelicans, but probably going to be a light bet. I love the spot for the Pelicans, but I really don't like this matchup for them on paper. So I'll probably play New Orleans for a light one and maybe throw one of those overs down, whether it's DeAnthony Melton or Tobias Harris. Next game. Utah Jazz on the road in Memphis. A real screamer of a game here. Grizzlies laying 4.5 points at home, total sitting at 224.5. As if this matchup couldn't get any less exciting, a bunch of injuries on the Utah side. Lauri Markkanen officially ruled out. He's missed a couple games now. Jordan Clarkson is listed as questionable. Kelly Olynyk is listed as questionable. Both those guys are new injuries too. They just played in the last game. So Utah not in the best shape for this one. And then on the Memphis side, I mean, it's no secret what's going on there. They got all kinds of problems. Ja Morant obviously still suspended. Brandon Clark's been out all year. Marcus Smart is out. Tillman's out. Luke Kennard is out. LaRavia is out. I mean, the Grizzlies team is an absolute nightmare right now. To be honest, I have zero interest in betting this game, so obviously I'm going to pass for now. We'll talk about it on the live show tomorrow at 4 p.m., but I'm most likely passing. I don't think I'm going to bet this one. That's all the time I have for tonight. Like I said, we have a small staff and we're still kind of in football mode. As football slows down, we'll slowly put out more and more basketball content. So live show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Me, Prop Beaver. I'm going to ask Jay if he wants to join. We'll get some guests. We'll go through all the games, make our final decisions. That's 4 p.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube. If you're able to join us, we'd love to see you in the comments. NBA Wednesday, let's keep it rolling. We're having a nice little stretch here. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.